when we were young, we were in a beginner's mind all the time, learning something new. And as we get older, we have a tendency to fall into habits and routines, places of comfort. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong to have settled into some things that bring you simple joys and pleasures, but we also need to have something in our lives all the time that is challenging us to grow, challenging us to try something different, get in a beginner's mind, open that up. But in order to learn something new, we have to let something go first. I grew up crocheting, and crocheting, so for those of you that don't know, it has a hook. The needle has a hook. And so when you're working with the yarn, you use the hook to pull the needle through. So I was always fascinated by knitters because they're working with those two straight needles, and I'm always thinking, how do they manage the yarn if they don't have a hook? So a couple years ago, I went and took lessons, beginning knitting lessons. And there's nothing just more uncomfortable than sitting in that space and like trying to hold these needles. I kept dropping them, and they make such a loud noise on the floor, and everyone's looking at you. And I couldn't figure out how to manage the yarn if I didn't have a hook. And finally, I learned, well, it's just a twist of the wrist, right? Okay. But I had to unlearn how to use a hook so that I could learn how to knit. Right? And now here I am 2 years later, and I've made shawls and mittens and hats, and it's one of my greatest pleasures.